YouTubers and YouTubers again. Gonna start another scarf. That's what I'm doing. It's fall. I'm doing scarves. So the last two that I did were the purple and light blue rayon Chanel, and then that purplish Brazilian merino wool. I'm getting off the purple kick this time, and I'm going to do black and gray. Again, this is a new yarn for me. Bought it at Icon Fibers over in De Pere. I think that's where I bought the last stuff too. This is called the Queensland Collection Recycled Tweed. It's 100 grams or 30.52 ounces, and they claim that it has 350 meters or 382 yards per ball. And this stuff is 40% recycled wool, 40% recycled polyester, and 20% recycled acrylic. But it feels pretty decent, and I think it should make a nice scarf. So the intent here is to do a 2x2, sort of a point twill. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 for half of the scarf, and then 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, etc. for the other half of the scarf in the threading. A real simple twill, so I'm not going to bother including a drawdown or anything because it's just twill. So that's the goal. Those are the colors. Let's see. When you look at them, you can see an occasional little fleck of, see there's white, little bit of flecks of lighter colors, and that's the black. I can't see much of that flecks or anything like that, but it's a little heathery in the gray too. So this is what it is: Queensland recycled tweed. Looked like a pretty interesting yarn, relatively inexpensive, so ought to work out pretty good for scarves. Anyways, I'm going to warp up the loom again. The last scarf went relatively fast. This one should as well. So I'll get back to you with more on this as soon as I get farther on. Well, gang, I am threading the heddles on this next scarf, the gray and black one. I've made the decision that since I want to do this one in twill, unlike my last scarf, which was at 10 ends per inch, I'm going to kick this one up to 12 ends per inch. It'll still be a relatively loose weave, but twill can just pack in a little better than plain weave, so I think 12 will work better for this. And I think with the twill being the pattern, where the gray and black cross each other, you'll be able to see kind of the neat chevron or twill diagonal lines. So I think that this will work out fine. And this gray really is kind of a mottled gray, mottled, not mottled, mottled with a T. It's got more variation to it now that I'm seeing it this way. I did that wrong. Brain not screwed to head ball. Just undo those. That one's there. This one goes over this way. Get that out of the way. Go back to here. Got to change the direction. I want it to it'd be kind of a point twill. So I got to remember that I'm just starting to do 4, 3, 2, 1 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll take me a minute to put that into muscle memory. Okay, there's that. Now we can go to 4. Well, I can still pull them 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. But now I'm threading from the other direction. There we go. So here I am working like, you know, crazy, threading heddles. Always a slow process. You know, I suppose I could have tied on, but I find tying on, I did it that one time in a video a year or two ago, and I'm just not as comfortable with tying those knots on. And these are relatively narrow warps anyways, so I think it's easier to just completely rewarp it. There, now that's the end of the gray. I'll just kind of comb it out. That's good there, that's good there. And tie this off, get it out of the way. And you get the idea what I'm doing. Again, there's no point in boring you with watching the rest of threading the heddles. I'll come back when I start either slaying the reed or begin to weave. Already it's been an hour or so since the last little chunk of video that I did. I've finished threading the heddles and I am now into slaying the reed. So reach up, grab, pull down. Let's grab the next one. Come up through the next open dent in the reed, grab it and pull down. I'm real glad that it was a year or so ago that I switched to this method. It is so much easier. Can I zoom you in a little bit more? That one didn't grab properly. Okay, now we'll back the whole thing up a little bit, grab these threads, pull them forward, give them just a quick comb out, and put a knot in the end I'm not making this knot real tight yet in case I have to remove it for any purpose, but it's there just to hold things in place. The only problem with this method is that I do have to hold these up like this, otherwise they the threads start to get pulled in underneath the reed up against the wood. So, but as long as I'm careful, it's not a problem. Okay, weavers and YouTubers, the reed is slayed. I've got you backed away a little further because I want you to see from a bit distance. So I don't know if you can tell, but right here between my fingers is where it is. I'm holding the reed in place with these C-clamps. There's one of them. And another one over on this side. So now there's nothing holding the reed in place really. I'm just going to back it up and lay it there. I'm going to take the top part of the beater bar and put it back on and lift up the reed to the vertical position. Hopefully get my fingers out so they're not trapped in there. There. Now the reed is in place and I can tighten up the beater bar and I can back it off like that. So that's the next step. Now I've got to put the breast beam back onto the loom. Like that. And loosen up the front apron rod. That's probably about far enough. Now I can begin to lash on, but I gotta wind this on to the back a little bit more because it's way too long. But I'm gonna do some of that off camera and I'll be right back. I have moved you a little bit closer now and I have wound a little bit more of this warp onto the back beam. So now I'm just gonna start lashing it onto the front. Here's the first one. I'll go through this next one. I've got way more cord here than I really need because I keep using the same lashing cord whether I'm doing something narrow like this scarf or something wide like a dish towel that's 30 inches wide. I use the same lashing cord, so that means that for this one I've got more cord than I need, but I'm not about to cut it for this and then find out that I don't have enough for the next project. I have two threads that I did not tie into a knot. That's why I keep these knots loose. There. That fixed that problem. Now they're tied in. I know that black thread and the amount of light I've got here is not the easiest for you guys to see, but hopefully it shows up to some extent. we'll tighten this up just a little bit. I may have to go wind it on a little bit more on the back beam. Well, there's a good start at least. So now we'll just make a, let's aim you down just a little bit. Okay, I think you can see that I've got it tied on there, and I'm out to the outside of both these sets of Texel cords that hold this chunk of wood up onto the wind-up beam down here. So now I'm just going to put a knot in this. And I should be able to tighten this up and increase my tension a little bit. Feel these to see. I actually feel pretty close to the same good tension. Let's go like that. Might be a little looser on the inside. We'll adjust it just the teeniest amount. Feels pretty even to me. Let's put a little bit more tension on it. I think that'll work. I'm going to move it forward so they've got enough to do twisted fringes. But hopefully you can see. Let's put a piece of paper under there so you can see the black. There we are. It's just 1 or 2 threads wider than 10 inches at 12 ends per inch. I think I've got 122, maybe 123 threads at 12 ends per inch. So that's that. The next thing we'll do is pull this forward and then start weaving. All right, YouTubers, this is going to be a little bit different because I'm getting ready to start weaving. I am going to do about 3 or 4 rows of just plain white cheap cotton thread, this peaches and cream or sugar and spice, whatever it's called, from Walmart, as the first couple things, just to spread out my warp nice and evenly. So we'll put this in. Has no other purpose other than to spread this out a little bit. And it's a nice contrasting color, so I can see what I'm doing with it. Okay, so that has effectively evened out my my warp to get it out of these bouts that are down here. Now I'm going to advance it just a teeny bit. I am going to do, I think I want to do a hem stitch on this one. I'll probably still do twisted fringes, but I want to start with a hem stitch. I know many people say you should have at least 4 times the width of your warp as the amount of excess thread that you can use for the hem stitch. So to play it safe, I've got 6 times the extra thread left over. And I'm, again, even though I intend to do this as twill, I'm going to do the first 4 picks of weft as plain weave, and that will get the hem stitch, and then I will go into the twill. So let's put this in. There's one. I'm not going quite all the way to the that white cotton thread. 2, 3, 4. That can get out of the way. I've set the shuttle up on the top. Now I'm going to grab, where did I put it? There it is. This needle. And I'm going to start doing the hem stitch. Of course, threading this needle's a first-class pain, but so now we're going to go over a couple of threads on the bottom. Come back around and go up above there. Get that nice and tight. Then we'll go down and go through 1, 2, 3. I really would like this with more light, but can't do it. That's what happens when I use black thread. So there's my hem stitching there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I did that wrong. No, I did it right. Okay. Now I'll come around and go over the next 4 threads. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back down again and up through 1, 2, 3, 4. So you get the idea. I know it's hard for you to see because I'm using black. I better stop doing this on camera because it's so hard to see. Unless I were to throw this white under it. Anyways, the hem stitches, I've done 3 of them now. They're right there. I'll do this again on another project where I've got brighter colors, easier for you guys to see. But I just want you to know that I am doing it on this project. And after I get done with these 4 rows of plain weave, I'll start on the twill. Well, gang, the battery's a little bit low on the camera right now, but I'm going to weave for a little bit. And if the battery dies, well, I guess that'll be the end of this part of this video. I think you can probably see right here in the middle where I've got the gray and going against the black that this is a twill. I'm not beating as hard as I sometimes like to do because I don't want to, it being a twill, you could overbeat this and squish it down. I'm not going to try that. So let's loosen it up. Okay, time to advance the warp again, but I'm going to turn the camera off. Okay, gang, well, this black and gray scarf is finally done. It's not quite as long as I wanted it to be. I overestimated the amount of loom waste, but it still looks good. So here it is, like this, same way on the other side. So the two ends have got what effectively looks like a cross in them. There's the other end. And I'm going to bring it a little bit closer so you can see that it is twill. You can see the point twill going down that way. And then here you can see the twill going that way, this way, and of course there's the intersection of white. So that's the scarf. Lengthwise, when I put it on at my shoulders, comes down to about mid-thigh. The other thing is, I decided that since I did do the hem stitching, I did not bother with twisted fringes. So it's got just long fringes. That's fine because the hem stitching is going to prevent it from unraveling. So there we are. Another project done. Another present to give away to somebody. But that's a separate issue. So there you go. Who knows what the next project's going to be or when I'll get it done. But there will be another one before too awful long, I hope. Until then, you know, as all YouTubers say, like, subscribe. There's something else. Like, subscribe. Give it a thumbs up, yeah. And until then, bye-bye.